Om Sai Ram. This is a reading of the Vishnu Sahasranama, and this is being read from a book by Swami Chinmayananda called 1,000 Ways to the Transcendental. In each chapter, I'll be reading 50 of these glorious names of the Lord Vishnu, along with possible meanings and implications of each name. Number 301, Yugavarta. In the previous term, the Lord is indicated as the creator of the Yugas. And here we are told that he is also the power behind the wheel of time that goes on changing and repeating itself. That is, not only is he the Lord of time, but he is the mighty administrator of the performances of time, the very law behind the constant flow of the flood of time. Number 302, Naika Maya, one whose delusory forms are endless and variegated. According to the Puranas, for the sake of sustaining the world and maintaining its order and rhythm, the Lord had taken different forms, each of his manifestations well suited for the times of his arrival. Thus, we have 10 incarnations. Also, in those mighty manifestations of the Lord, as Krishna and Rama, we find descriptions of how one and the same entity generated different attitudes and emotions in different types of people. In short, one who has realized the self can thereafter freely play through all his existing vasanas, and none of them can ever entangle him because he has grown to be the master of his own vasanas. Maya, otherwise called as avidya, is constituted of the vasanas in us, forming our causal body. One who has transcended this is the one who has realized the infinite. The Lord is therefore one who is without Maya in him. An individual entity, like us, is one who is under the tyrannies of Maya. The Lord is one who can wield Maya for his purpose without himself becoming involved in it. Number 303, Mahasana. This word can be dissolved as he who eats up everything, one who swallows up all the perceptions, emotions, and thoughts created by the vasanas at the various levels of personality due to our own individual vasanas. At the time of Samadhi, when the limited ego has ended and the supreme is experienced, all the expressions of the vasanas are, as it were, swallowed by that infinite experience. And therefore, this great Vishnu is called the consumer of everything. Number 304, Adrishya. Through the sense organs, the mind and intellect, we are aware of the outer objects and our subjective emotions and thoughts. The ultimate reality is neither the objects perceived by us nor the instruments of our perception. He is the subjective core, the eternal essence, wherein the perceived and the instruments of perception are totally absent. This subjective reality must necessarily be, by its very nature, not an object of perception, and hence it is called the imperceptible, meaning he is the very perceiver in all perceptions. Number 305, Vyakta Rupa, one who has a form clearly perceptible to the meditator in his meditation. The contradiction is so smotheringly apparent because of the very placing of the term. It is only just now in the above term that we are told that the Lord is imperceptible, that is, adrishya, and the very following term declares that he is perceptible. Here it means that though he is not perceptible with the physical instruments of perceptions, yet on transcending the equipment, the yogi intimately comes to experience the entire divine glory of the self. Though ordinarily it is not easy to see him, in the devotee's heart, the Lord comes to play vividly and drives the devotee mad in his ecstasy. Number 306, Sahasrajit, one who vanquishes thousands. In all the Puranas everywhere, it is found that the incarnations manifest to destroy the diabolically fallen, who approach the good in endless hordes to annihilate them. One who conquers these diabolical forces is the Lord Vishnu. Subjectively, the hosts of passion and lusts, greed and jealousies which invade the inner bosom and loot away the seeker's tranquility and peace are all ultimately vanquished by this higher consciousness, and therefore the self is indicated as the one who is ever victorious over all the hordes of our lower impulses. Number 307, Anantajit, ever victorious. The victory of the Lord is endless in every incarnation. He alone wins in the end. The victory over negative forces becomes complete once the higher consciousness is experienced, and hence the self is indicated here as Anantajit. Number 308, Ishta. This term can be interpreted in two ways. One who is invoked through the different types of Vedic rituals, that is yajnas, or it can also mean one who is loved by all, the Lord being the very center of all love in everyone. The Brihadraryanyak Upanishad very clearly indicates this idea in almost unvarnished words. The man loves his wife not because of the wife, but because of himself. All love springs from our personal love for the infinite, which is the self in us. Number 309, Vishishta, one who is the noblest and most sacred. Vishnu, the Lord, dwells in the heart of everyone. He is the sole essence presiding over every physical, mental, and intellectual activity in every living creature, and therefore he is indicated by this term. Number 310, Shishta Ishta, to all the spiritually minded good people, and therefore sincere seekers, the Lord is the greatest beloved in that he represents the goal and the destination of all devoted seekers. In short, he is the supreme beloved for all spiritually inclined divine hearts. This can also mean that the Lord is one who himself is a sincere and ardent devotee and courtier of all devotees who sincerely and diligently seek him. There are commentators who indicate that the term can also mean one who is being constantly invoked and held in adoration by all true devotees with their physical, mental, and intellectual activities. Number 311, Shikandi, one who wears Shikanda, meaning the peacock feather. Lord Krishna is described in the Bhagavad as having been adorned with the eye of the peacock feather, especially in his early childhood and boyhood. Number 312, Nahusha. The term Nahanam means bondage. Therefore, the term stands for one who is familiar with bondages. In the Vedanta, the word Ishvara is the supreme consciousness conditioned by the total causal body. At the same time, Ishvara is one who has the Maya under his control. It can also be understood as one who binds all creatures of the world with the cord of Maya. Number 313, Vrisha. There is a famous statement in the Hindu tradition from which we can gather that the Lord is of the nature of Dharma. Dharma means the essential law of being, that because of which an individual is an individual, without which the individual cannot exist, is the Dharma of the individual. In this sense, the essential Dharma of one is the self. Thus, Vrisha is but another name to suggest that the Lord Vishnu is none other than the self in us. It can also mean one who showers the fulfillment of all desires in all devotees. Desires arise when the existing vasanas get impatient and explode into manifestation. As the desire arises, the mind plans out and the body acts towards its fulfillment. All these activities are possible only when the vehicles are thrilled by the self in us. Thus, ultimately, one who fulfills all desires is the Lord of our heart, the Atma. Number 314, Krodhaha, one who destroys anger in all sincere seekers. We have already found earlier that anger manifests when fulfillment of a deep desire is obstructed. On realizing the Lord, all desires end, and therefore there cannot be any anger on any occasion. Also, anger can come only when we recognize the world of plurality around us. For one who is experiencing the self, there is nothing but the self everywhere, and therefore there is no occasion to entertain this emotion of anger. Number 315, Krodha Krit Karta, one who generates in a sincere and serious seeker anger against the lower tendencies when they manifest. Also, he is the very only creative impulse or karta behind the lower tendencies, because all things come out from him alone. Number 316, Vishwabahu, one who has a number of hands, whose hands are everywhere, doing all activities in the universe. The hands can lift and do its job only when it is in contact with life. Life expressing through the hand is its function. All hands that are doing variegated activities all over the world are all his hands, inasmuch as where he is not, that lifeless hand can perform no more activity. Since he is thus the dynamic principle that functions through all hands at work, he is called Vishwabahu. Number 317, Mahidhara, one who is the substratum and support for the earth. The Lord is the very material cause for the universe, and as such, he supports the world. Just as cotton supports the cloth, mud supports the pot, and gold supports the ornament. Since the term Mahi also means the adorations sent up by the devotees, it can also mean one who receives all the worship of devoted hearts. Number 318, Achyuta, one who has not got any modifications, such as birth, growth, decay, disease, death, etc. The eternal and immutable cannot have any change, and the self being the eternal, it cannot have any of the changes that are natural to all mortal and finite things. The Upanishads themselves call Vishnu eternal, auspicious, and changeless. Number 319, Pratita, one who exists pervading all, spreading himself everywhere. It can also mean one whose glory, as described in the Upanishads, has spread around the world. Number 320, Prana, all manifested expressions of life are called prana. He is the prana in all living creatures, meaning it is his manifestations that we recognize as the endless activities in all living creatures in this dynamic world. Also, it can mean that he is the one who in the form of vital air sustains life in all creatures. Number 321, Pranada, one who gives strength or prana to everyone. The root da has a meaning of destruction, and therefore the term comprehends also the power of destruction everywhere. According to the Puranas, therefore, he is the one who gives the strength and glory for devas, and again, he is the one who supplies special strength to them to win over the brutal forces of the diabolically wicked, that is, the asuras. Subjectively, it is the self that supplies the mental strength for cultivating the higher values of life, and it is the same source divine that floods the seeker's heart with the courage to annihilate the lower impulses that come to destroy his peace and tranquility within. Number 322, Vasavanuja, the brother of Indra. This name has been acquired by the Lord Vishnu because of his incarnation as the adorable dwarf Vamana. At that time, the Lord had to take birth in the womb of Aditi and manifest as the younger brother of Indra. In the subjective science of the Vedanta, the king of the gods, that is Indra, is the lord of the sense organs, and so he is the mind. The spiritual urge that dawns in us as a younger brother of the mind ultimately comes to measure away and win over the three worlds of waking, dream, and deep sleep, and thus comes to conquer the entire kingdom of Indra in more than one sense. Number 323, Apamniti, treasure of waters, meaning the ocean. The very glory and might of the oceans are all but a reflection of Sri Narayana's own glory divine. In the Gita, Bhagwan himself says, among the collections of waters, I am the ocean. Number 324, Adishtanam, the substratum for the entire universe. The delusory misconceptions can be projected only upon something that is real, and this permanent post is called the substratum for the delusory ghost, that is vision. Number 325, Apramata, one who has no pramada, meaning one who never commits a mistake in judgment. The Lord is the law behind all happenings in the universe. The results of the actions are always strictly according to the quality of the actions. In administering this law of karma, one who never makes any mistake is is apramata. We are full of pramada. We make the mistake of misunderstanding ourselves to be the matter equipment around us, and due to this pramada, we project in ourselves the false concept of an ego. The Supreme is ever the pure consciousness, and therefore he is without such wrong self-judgment. Number 326, Pratishtita. Everything in the world depends upon something else to serve as its cause. Since all things that we perceive and experience in the world are all effects, they have their own causes, and the effects must necessarily depend upon the cause for their very existence. The Supreme Lord is the one uncaused cause with reference to whom everything is only an effect. Since he is thus the ultimate cause, he is not dependent upon anything other than himself. This self-established reality is indicated by the term Pratishtita. Number 327, Skanda. This is one of the names of the youngest son of Lord Shiva, Subramanya, who is described in the Puranas as commander-in-chief of the righteous army. Therefore, Skanda means the Lord, whose glory is expressed through Subramanya. In order to realize the self, it is a prerequisite condition that the different personality layers in the seeker should be completely integrated. Number 328, Skandadhara, one who upholds the withering righteousness, or one who fathered Lord Subramanya, meaning one who is in the form of Parameshwara. Number 329, Durya, one who carries the Lord. The Lord is the one who carries the responsibilities of creation, sustenance, and annihilation of the entire world of plurality. One who carries out these functions systematically without any hitch through the millenniums is Sri Narayana, and he is therefore Dhurya. Number 330, Varada, one who blesses all true devotees and fulfills their request for boons. It can also mean one who gives the best, that is varam, in life to those who seek him with perfect detachment and sharpened discrimination. Number 331, Vayu Vahana, the one who controls, regulates, and moves the great winds. In the Sanskrit literature, the movement of air in the atmosphere has been classified under 7 types, and they are called the Saptamaruta. In short, the inconceivable might and power of the winds and their own life-sustaining abilities are all lent out to the air by his own munificence, and therefore he is called Vayu Vahana. Number 332, Vasudeva, one who is at once both Vasu and Deva. Vasu means one who dwells in the physical equipment of all living creatures as its indweller. Deva means one who revels, or one who illumines. Thus, Vasudeva means one who lives in the physical equipment as though conditioned by them, and yet who is the vital consciousness in the light of which every experience is illumined. The Lord is the one who dwells in all things of the universe, and he is at once the supporter of the entire world. Also, directly, it can be taken to mean one who is born as the son of Sri Vasudeva in the jail of Kamsa, the blue boy of Vrindavan. He is called Vasu as he veils himself with his own Maya. Deva means he who sports, wishes to conquer, conducts, shines, creates, and moves. In the Udyoga Parva of Mahabharata, we read, like the sun with his rays, I am covering all beings, and hence I am called Vasudeva. Vishnu Purana says, as he resides everywhere in and through all things, he is termed Vasudeva. All beings remain in the Supreme, and he in all beings, and hence the omnipresent is called Vasudeva. Number 333, Brihat Bhanu, possessed of endless rays, meaning one who illumines the world with the rays of the sun and the moon. The Mahabharata says, he whose great rays are in the sun, moon, and others, and he who illumines the universe through them is called the possessor of great rays. Number 334, Adi Deva, one who is the primary source for for everything. He is the first cause and hence the first deity. Number 335, Purandara, the destroyer of the cities. City is the well-equipped field for gathering endless experiences. The three cities through which we generally move about, gathering our experiences in this world, are waking, dream, and deep sleep. On transcending the gross, subtle, and causal bodies, one experiences the self, and at such a moment, these three cities are burned down or pillaged or blasted. The same ideal is also explained in the Shiva Purana. Accordingly, we can say that he is one who as Maheshwara performed the destruction of the three cities. Number 336, Ashoka, one who has no sorrows. Sorrow is a condition experienced when the mind is agitated and extremely disturbed. The agitations of the mind come from desires, greed, etc. Therefore, the term Ashoka indicates one who has none of these negative tendencies that create in their turn more and more mental disturbances. This is a true appellation because the Lord, as the Self, transcends the realm of the thought disturbances constituted by the mind-intellect equipment. Number 337, Tarana, one who enables others to cross. The ego suffering the constant agitations of the equipment is saved by the Self. The ego, that is, the Jiva, when it discovers its identity with the Self, automatically moves away from the sorrows of the vehicles. In short, as Vishnu Bhagavata says, who is there other than you that can save us from the wheel of births and deaths? Number 338, Tara, one who saves is called Tara, one who saves from the fear of rebirth, and also one who is a constant protector of the devotees, and therefore the devotees themselves call him the Savior or Tara. These three terms indicate how Vishnu is the absolute protector of his devotees. He saves us from the afflictions of the body and so subjective sorrows. He enables us to cross the ocean of samsara, and therefore he saves us all from all cosmic pains. He saves us from the elements, and so he is the savior from all sorrows of birth and death. This indicates all trans-cosmic tragedies, meaning that Narayana can save us from all sorrows contributed by the hand of God. Number 339, Sura, the valiant. All sources of strength and courage spring from the life in us, and therefore the Lord of the universe is called here as the valiant, capable of crushing all unrighteous forces, however well entrenched they may be in the world. Number 340, Sauri. Surasena is the father of Vasudeva, and we have already found that Vasudeva's son is Vasudeva. Therefore, the Lord has taken his incarnation in the family of Sura, and so he is termed as Sauri. Number 341, Janeshwara, the Lord of the people. Those who are born are called Jana. Therefore, the term indicates that he is the Lord of all creatures born in the universe. Number 342, Anukula, a hearty well-wisher or friend of everyone. Since the Lord is the essential life in everyone, he is the friend and ally of every individual, inasmuch as nobody spends his life except in concurrence with his own subjective intentions and purposes. Thus, he is a friend and a devoted ally to everyone, since he is the mighty power behind all vasanas expressing through all creatures. Number 343, Shatavrata. Shata means 100, and here it is used as innumerable. Thus, the term Shatavrata means one who takes an infinite variety of forms. All forms in the universe are but his own, inasmuch as his manifestation is the universe. Again, he takes innumerable incarnations in order to maintain the law of the cosmos and also the law of evolution. It can also mean one who, as prana, moves in the innumerable nadis in the body. Number 344, Padmi, one who has the lotus in his hand. The lotus is the national flower in Bharat, as it symbolizes in our culture the goal of our spiritual life. It is to offer this knowledge acknowledge that the Lord blows his conch, and if people are not listening to the silent call of the higher from within, he uses his gada or mace to give merciful knocks in life. Still, if an individual or a generation is not listening to his kindly warnings, he has the discus or chakra in his hand. He annihilates totally the existing forms and recreates them. Number 345, Padma Nibekshana, one whose eyes are as beautiful as the lotus. In short, lotus-eyed. Number 346, Padmanabha, one who has the lotus in his navel. This is not to be taken literally. The navel is the psychic center where all unmanifest thoughts first spring forth into our recognition. The seedless state of all thoughts is called para in Yoga Shastra. It therefore means one in whose bosom lies in potential all the possibilities of the universe of expression. It can also mean one who manifests himself in the lotus of the heart of his devotee. Some translate this as he who is seated in the pericarp of the lotus. Number 347, Aravindaksha, one who has eyes as beautiful as the lotus. The lotus opens at sunrise and closes at night. The Lord opens his beauty and grace in the presence of the devotees, and the flood of his grace, as it were, dries up in the presence of the dark sensuality of the ignorant. Number 348, Padma Garbha, one who is meditated upon in the center of the lotus of the heart. Number 349, Sharirabrit, one who sustains or nourishes all bodies. Or it can mean one who is the form of food and prana, who becomes the very cause for the sustenance of the body. He who, while presiding over the body, nourishes and maintains it, and in whose absence the body decays and perishes, he is the one who is the sustainer of the body. Number 350, Mahariddhi, one who has great riddhi, meaning prosperity and power. These two, prosperity and power, together are called glory. Thus, the term means one who has, by his very nature, glory always with him. Om Sai Ram. This brings us to the end of names 301 through 350 of the Vishnu Sahasranama.